camera zoomed in, and the world froze. Byron and Kristin caught on kiss cam. 10 seconds, a billionaire CEO, his chief HR officer. One innocent concert turned into an explosion of headlines, gossip, and judgment. Twitter burned TikTok. Danced YouTube rewound it 1,000 times. And just like that, everyone forgot what they were supposed to see. But let me ask you something. When the media shows you two people kissing, what are they hiding from you? Because while your eyes were on a scandal somewhere deep in the heart of Africa, bullets were fired, not at celebrities, but at sovereignty. The world has always been addicted to drama. A billionaire, a forbidden affair, a Coldplay concert. The crowd roared, the kiss cam lingered, and before you knew it, a personal moment turned into public humiliation. The headlines didn't ask if it was real. They only asked how juicy it was. Millions clicked, millions judged, and billions stayed distracted. But isn't that the point? While you were laughing at a meme, crying over a betrayal, it wasn't even yours. Something far more important was erased from your screen, deliberately. A young African leader said something the world wasn't ready to hear, but instead of hearing him, they showed you a kiss. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is not a celebrity. He doesn't perform at concerts. He doesn't trend on gossip blogs, but he does something far more dangerous. He speaks truth to global power. In Burkina Faso, a land torn by decades of exploitation, Traoré dared to say no. No to puppet regimes, no to military occupation disguised as peacekeeping, no to stealing Africa's gold while leaving its people poor, no to the games of the West. And yet you didn't hear it, because your screen was too busy showing you a kiss cam. This isn't just a random scandal. It's part of a pattern. Every time someone rises who threatens the world order, they blur the screen. With gossip, with sex, with sports, with fear. Ask yourself, when was the last time a media empire told you about African sovereignty, about young people rising, about nations choosing dignity over debt? They don't. Because if you really knew what Traoré stood for, you'd question everything, and they can't afford that. So they show you Andy, they show you Kristin, and they bury the revolution. You want to know why they hide Traoré? Because he is everything the system is afraid of. Young, uncontrolled, awake. He doesn't sell oil to the highest bidder. He doesn't read speeches written by foreign hands. He speaks the language of freedom, and that is louder than any scandal. So when he kicks out foreign troops, builds his own military, and tells African youth to stand up, that's news. But it's the kind of news they'll never show you. Because if you knew that one man could stand, others might rise too. This is not just a tale of a billionaire's affair. It's a tale of global distraction, of what you're meant to see and what you're never supposed to know. Every time they flash a scandal in front of your eyes, pause, ask, what truth are they burying beneath this noise? Whose voice is being silenced while the crowd laughs? What revolution is happening in silence just because you weren't watching? Because while the world kissed drama, Ibrahim Traoré was rewriting Africa's future. And this time, it won't be hidden. The same day the concert clip went viral in New York, a convoy rolled into the dusty outskirts of Fada Ngorma. Not with humanitarian aid, not with journalists, but with silence and steel. While the world debated kisses, Traoré was sealing borders, rerouting minerals back to the people, and lighting up villages with electricity for the first time in decades. But you wouldn't know that. You were watching Kristin's lipstick, not Burkina Faso's renaissance. In boardrooms in Brussels and think tanks in Washington, panic sped faster than the kiss cam replay, because they knew this was not just a leader. This was a contagion. A dangerous idea that Africa didn't need saving, it needed sovereignty. And that scared them more than any bullet. Ibrahim didn't wear a Rolex, he wore dust and fire. He didn't take selfies, he took back stolen land. Every speech wasn't written, it was lived. Every sentence was forged in sacrifice. Every handshake was a risk, every smile a trap. In a world run by puppeteers, Traoré cut the strings and walked alone. You see, they never fear the armed rebel as much as they fear the disciplined one. The rebel they can kill, the disciplined one they cannot control. When Traoré stood before a crowd of miners and told them, "You don't work for France anymore, you work for Burkina," they tried to laugh it off, but laughter turned to fear as copper shipments stopped as gold exports, as young men traded begging for building. Then the hit pieces came manufactured outrage. Traoré hates democracy. They screamed, "Traoré is radical." They shouted. What they really meant was Traoré is not ours. And that was unforgivable. Western news outlets suddenly remembered Burkina Faso existed, but only as a crisis zone, a dictatorship, a risk to investment. They never showed the clinics being built, the schools rising from red earth, the women marching not in protest, but in pride. They showed shadows, because the light would blind you. When global media talks about Africa, it's either war, famine, or charity. But Traoré changed the script no more. Hands out, only hands up. No more debts, only demands. No more waiting for help, just taking back what was always ours. That narrative terrifies the powerful, because it's not just words. It's working. A young mother in Kaya now powers her home with solar panels built by local engineers. A child in Banfora drinks clean water from a well drilled by his brother, not a foreign. And Go, a university student in Ouagadougou, designs drones for agriculture, not war. That is revolution, not of arms, but of agency. And still they show you scandal. Still they keep your eyes wide shut. Because if you saw what's happening in Burkina Faso, you'd ask, why not here? Why not us? And the system has no answer. So they show you another celebrity, another kiss, another distraction. But this time the curtain is slipping. The youth are waking up across Africa and beyond. They are not chanting slogans. They are building systems. They are not protesting aid. They are rejecting dependency. They are not begging for attention. They are demanding respect, all because one man refused to bow. Ibrahim Traoré is not perfect, but perfection is not what scares them. What scares them is that he's real, that his courage is contagious, that every step he takes unchained inspires 1,000 more. He is not just a president, he is a precedent, and precedents are dangerous because they multiply. The world powers thought Africa would always play second fiddle, but now Africa is composing its own symphony, and this time, we are not asking to be heard. We are becoming too loud to ignore, and no kiss cam can mute that.